Hey, Wixman Ray here. Today is what is this, Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. February 25th, 2026 here. It's about noon out where I'm at, 3 o'clock on the East Coast. So just so you're aware what time it might be. This is a visual satellite here. So this is what it would look like if you were sitting up on that satellite above the Earth there. Um, so yeah, you can see the clouds moving along. A lot of this is snow up here that's not moving. Where you see these like wavy looking, how do I describe this? These clouds here that look like they're not moving, those are actually clouds, but that's due to the mountains. So it's kind of going over the terrain and it kind of looks bumpy, and that's due to the mountains and the valleys. So yeah, same thing you got over here by Northern Virginia and this the hilly mountainous area out here. You're getting the same effect. So yeah. Anyways, thought I'd show you that, but let's get a better perspective here of what's going on. That little thin stuff like this is just those high cirrus clouds that you see up in the sky that are up there where the planes fly. Let's change it to something where it looks a little nicer and easier to understand what's going on. Really not too terribly active weather-wise out here. We've got a couple small systems bringing some precipitation, but no major storms. And we got a pretty fast, what they call west to east flow or zonal type pattern. So what that means is the systems that move across will be pretty fast movers. So they won't sit in any particular location very long. So. But yeah, so out west here, we've got these are some higher clouds coming over this part of the country into the central part of the country. And then this down here, some lower clouds down in here. And there's a little bit of spotty precipitation, mostly rain through this area. I'll show you that here later. Um, we've also got these are high clouds that form kind of on the lee side of the mountain. So which is the kind of lee side. That's what we call the direction the wind's kind of flowing this way. So this would be the lee side. So yeah, and yeah, out here we've got some higher mid-level clouds. It looks like there might be a little bit of precipitation underneath there, if I remember. And there's still that snow cover. It's hasn't melted up in Iowa yet, and that extends up into Wisconsin. But this area's been cold for a while, so it hasn't had a chance to really melt down much. And then we got some lower clouds across the northeast. We got a little system moving through this general area, the Great Lakes, moving towards New York and Pennsylvania with a little bit of light snow in there. Down south, we've got some higher clouds, and then these are lower clouds beneath it. These light bluish, white looking clouds down there. Those are your low level clouds. So that's what's going on satellite there. So really kind of quiet day weather-wise, and very mild in most areas, most part of the country, at least for the western half and the southern. I don't know, two-thirds of the country. The northern third is still cold, but yeah, still winter up there. So out west here, looking pretty nice. You got looks like some showers up in the Pacific Northwest, coming mainly along the coastal area up there by um, I forget what they call this part of Washington, but anyways, this section. Not much. It looks like it's mostly sunny out here from Seattle down to Portland and Eugene. Then you got some clouds down here. Looks like some rain showers across to southern Idaho, but temperatures are almost 50 degrees. Got a little bit of winds at Pocatello there, and we got some real gusty winds here. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Let me just kind of scroll down here, but yeah, little breezy here across northern Nevada, but nothing too crazy. A little bit of clouds and it looks like the rain. There was a few showers earlier in the central part of Nevada. The radar really doesn't catch that very well because there's some radar gaps due to the low population out here. They don't. The Weather Service doesn't have good radar coverage in parts of the western part of the United States, especially in places like Nevada, Idaho, Montana, and even Arizona. So, yeah. Anyways, and pretty warm across California here. 60s up north, 50s and 50s way far north, and then 70s here down, and 80 even. 80, almost 89 there. So it's getting real warm out here in the lower deserty areas of California. Warm in Phoenix, 84, 81 in Tucson, 60s and 70s in northern Arizona. Nice across New Mexico in the 70s and 80s. A little bit of winds here from Roswell down towards Hobbs, New Mexico, where the aliens live there around Roswell. I'm convinced there's aliens. Anyways, yeah, gusting around 35, 40 miles an hour out in this part. So we got a lot of gusty winds across the front range of the Rockies into eastern Colorado. I mean, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. They got high wind warnings a good part of Wyoming here along I-80, man. Cheyenne to, Laramie and Rock Springs. It looks like it's gusting to 50, 60 miles an hour. So windy. So if you're a truck driver out there or just living out there, you know it. It's always windy there. And then the rest of the state, 30, 40 mile an hour winds out of the northwest. So those even extend out into Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, the western side of Nebraska. We got some showers. This is mostly rain showers. There was a little bit of snow up at Jackson Hole this morning, but it looks like it's warmed up to rain. So just got some rain showers, some areas of rain moving along. We got a little frontal system through here. So yeah, and then all through Montana, a lot of gusty winds on the kind of lee side of the mountains there. So gusting up 40, 50 miles an hour and probably higher in some places. I think they had some high wind warnings up here too. So it's windy. So otherwise, yeah, then you kind of extend out to the east here into Iowa and Nebraska, a little bit of rain showers. Looks like this, I'm not seeing any light snow reported. Yeah, there's some up here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So some of this will be some light snows up in here, even into far northeast, or yeah, northeast Nebraska there. Their temperatures are, below or below freezing up here and near or above freezing here. So yeah, that's what's going on there. But really no major weather systems. This is where the bulk of the precip is here throughout the west. So pretty warm across the south. 88 in Midland, Texas, 77 in Dallas, Fort Worth, 60s and 70s. It's starting to warm up now in Florida, 60s and 70s. Still a little bit probably below normal, but relatively warm. I mean, it's nothing cold or anything. Still got a little breezy up here across the, Ohio, Indiana, even back towards Chicagoland. A little bit of light snow up here across the Great Lakes with this system coming across. Syracuse is warm enough for rain there, and even at Rochester. So temperatures are warming up out here into the 30s, up mid to upper 30s. So some will be snow, some will be rain up in here. Looks like farther north they're getting some snow, moderate snow there. So yeah, this could be a mix of rain and snow up here. The Tug Hill might just be getting snow, but it's hard to say. I don't see any observations. And then snow on up in here to Quebec and parts of Ontario. Yeah, and then the northeast here, still a little bit of light snow up in Maine. So yeah. But yeah, relatively warm. I mean, even up in this area, it's in the 30s. There's some 20s up here, but the coldest air is really back here into North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. You got some teens up in here, so they're below normal up there. That's the cold part of the country. That's what's going on for most of the area. It looks like a little bit of maybe light rain or virga. That's clouds that's precipitation that don't read through the ground. It's hard to tell. I don't see any obs, but yeah, down near the Boot Hill, Missouri. So yeah. All right. So we'll make this quick. The snowfall. Where's my other map? Yeah, this is with that little clipper that's going through. Generally, what, 1 to 3 inches, and maybe a couple. That's up in the mountains in Maryland or hills. I call them hills since I'm out west, but yeah, generally 1 to 3. Couple had close to 4 to 5, but same thing up here. Some higher amounts up near the lakes, where they get lake effect, 8 or 9 inches. But yeah, so you had still snow piling up. I told you it would be out here. So, but I think today's the last day. I think there might be lingering through tomorrow morning, but yeah, then you'll see a day or two of a break of snow out there, which will be much needed before the cold comes on Friday and Saturday up in this part of the country. But that'll be short-lived. We'll talk about that. So, all right. So we're just going to look at. I started it again, Ray. Okay. I always get my computers confused. Anyway, so here's our forecast. We'll just go out into this evening. So you can see there's some showers all throughout the west here, extending out into South Dakota. That's kind of what we saw. Looks like the models might be a little underdone. We saw a little bit more because this was, oh, come on, Ray, get your act together. I guess that's okay. It was pretty close. So maybe a little farther north with some of the precip. So. But anyways, yeah, the general idea, there's some light areas of mostly rain. Farther up here, if there that precip we saw will be snow if it stays around too long. Other than that, there's that low pressure system, and it's a little frontal band coming through New York and Pennsylvania and down areas to the south. Might be some spotty rain showers farther south, but just some light snow up in here. And that'll kind of continue. That front will swing through tonight and through tomorrow morning. It's moving offshore, and then we've got it kind of clears out for the west after today. On Thursday, there's some lingering rain and snow across Utah and the mainly the mountainous areas out here through Thursday morning, but then it's gone. But then we get a little low pressure this is the one that's forming today, and that's where you're seeing that rain out here in Nebraska and parts of South Dakota. A little bit of snow too. Um, so tonight, yeah, you'll see a little bit of snow on the northern end. It looks like it starts to strengthen or deepen, as we call it in meteorology. It's the low deepens or strengthens. A little bit of snow on the north edge there. Just some little bit of light snow going overnight or today anyways, through tomorrow as that pushes east. Along this area, there'll probably be some thunderstorms. There could even be some thunderstorms back in this area, according to the Storm Prediction Center with the National Weather Service. So keep an eye if you see a thunder or hear some thunder out there, or see a lightning bolt. Don't be surprised, but nothing too crazy. They'll be a little bit more organized as we go into the day on Thursday out here in the southeast up in Virginia, southern Virginia, anyways. So some showers and thunderstorms there. That system kind of wraps up and moves offshore. Some lingering showers and storms across the southeast on Thursday night into Friday. They'll be continuing showers, thunderstorms all across this area. And that'll go all the way through the weekend, really. I mean, a little bit lingers across Florida, but the front pretty much washes out on Saturday across Florida. Um, so, enough said with that. Here's our next low pressure up there in Canada. That'll stay up north. Most of the snow will stay up there. We do see a little band of snow developing, so there might be a few inches with this band as it trucks across, Montana, parts of the Dakotas, and Iowa, and the Great Lakes area. It'll be just a narrow band, so not everyone's going to see snow. But you'll see colder air. This will be a little bit of an Arctic plunge. Temperatures will be below normal from, the northeast through northern plains down towards Nebraska and this area. So, but that'll be short-lived. Does look like we see a little bit more snow break out along it there. What is that? Late Saturday into Sunday morning. back here, but no super, nothing like what you saw, last weekend across the East Coast and on Monday. So, anyways, yeah, and then here's that system. We saw this yesterday. It's developing, looks like Sunday, late Saturday into Sunday across Oklahoma. Breaks out as rain, maybe some thunderstorms, and then the northern section up, near Kansas City and maybe even close to Omaha or south of them. Some rain and snow. Looks like a mixed bag of wintry precip up here on Sunday across Missouri, even towards St. Louis, going towards Indianapolis. And that moves across, so that could bring, several inches of snow. There's still a little bit of model differences. I won't show you, but there was a little bit of on the timing of the system and how quick it moves across and those kind of things. So it looks like there's going to be some sort of storm with with some sort of snow out in the central part of the country, extending towards the East Coast late in the weekend. Towards basically over the weekend into Monday. So something to keep an eye on. But that cold air, it'll hang around for the weekend up here, and then by looks like, and a little bit of it on Monday, but by Tuesday we see kind of this return flow from you know, the desert Southwest and from the south. So it'll start warming up pretty rapidly on by the Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Still got some colder air up north, but yeah, but that Arctic air will kind of moderate. And so this is middle of next week. They're indicating maybe a storm up across the north again. But just take that with a grain of salt. That's like 7 days out. And the models have kind of just been struggling with this one. I mean, the models are good at saying there's going to be a storm, but the timing and location of where the snow is going to be and where the rain snow line is going to be varies. So, yeah. So just keep that in mind. Just be prepared out here for the weekend. There could be some snow out here in this neck of the woods extending towards the East Coast again. And this could cause definitely cause travel issues and probably flight delays, as normal. But it's a quick moving storm, so it's not going to be like a foot of snow or anywhere. You can see probably upwards to 6 inches in some areas. We'll have to see. I mean, don't take that as the gospel. But anyways, I'm just rambling on my opinions on this, but have a I appreciate you being here and subscribing, listening. Let me know how I can improve. This is my passion. I love weather. I've been doing it for 30 plus years since 1990. So, anyways, have a great day. Wixman Ray out.